Really not sure what this video is going to be about, but I'm going to share my experience. Okay, why is it that pastors of churches, they get to a certain point and they never repent? You never hear them say, "Hey, this is my sin, and this is what I've done." And I it might be embarrassing, but this is how you repent, and you shame yourself. Like, I watched something 2 months ago, inappropriate, on my phone. I don't have to go into it because children might watch this video. And that's not a legal crime, but it was morally wrong between me and God. And I knew it was wrong. And, other people might not think there's nothing wrong with it. And there was a point that I thought there was nothing wrong with it. But once you get to a certain point, when you read the scripture and you have a relationship with Jesus, things that you thought weren't wrong are wrong. And you realize the only perfect person that walked this earth was Jesus. Whether you want to say he's the Son of God or he's not the Son of God, that's, disputable between people. But there's scientific proof that I can't get into, that it's beyond my, cognitive ability to explain. I can only explain my relationship with him, how I know he's real. And I'm not here to preach the gospel. What I'm here to do is say, why don't people apologize? Why is it so hard to say, I have two parents, that take me to church. I'm in a wheelchair right now from a car accident, and I've lost my leg as a result of the car accident, above the knee amputee. And I've been in a wheelchair for approximately 10 years. And listen, it sucks. I was an elite athlete, all right? I was a semi-pro elite athlete fighter. And I taught, and I trained striking, taught to UFC fighters, to boxing. I was a trainer for, 15 years of my life. I've done this. I put the gloves on at 10 years old. And ever since 10 years old up to, 48 years old, that's all I did. And then my car accident happened. And as a result of my sin, I lost my leg. It was my choice to go in that direction, even though the car accident, I had nothing to do with the car accident. It wasn't my fault at all. My passenger ended up dead. The girl living with me, Amy, and, and I used to exaggerate about my some of the fights I had or boxing, that I'd done in my younger days. And as you get older, you realize, why lie? Because I want to be blessed. I want the audience to watch my channel. I love to podcast, and I love to chit chat, and I love to talk about things. And I know that, so these two parents, this kid's like 16 years old, and he's coming over and he's teaching me the computer, and he's teaching me how to go into software and get clips and edit them and put them up, and then I could speak between them. And God, he goes into like 100 different windows, and this kid just is 16 years old. He's like a little genius, and he's just click, 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 click. And I'm like totally, Rocky Balboa and Winnie the Pooh mixed together, trying to be taught computer. All right. And it's just, it's difficult for me. It's one of the hardest things for me to learn. And I'm a quarter way there learning this. And I have to learn this because if I want a podcast, I got to learn to edit my own stuff, because I'm a one-man band right now, one-man army. And, the day of reckoning comes, for everybody, and everybody feels sometimes like a victim. But listen, I went to prison. I should have never went to state prison legally. I got convicted of buying a $14. I tried to buy $15 of crack, and these cops were posing as crack dealers in California. And this is, maybe 20, 25 years ago. And they were posing as crack dealers, and I asked for, I said, Kinsey, that's $15, and I had $14, and they gave me a macadamia nut, a real macadamia nut. And then the squad cars pulled up, and I got arrested with 35 other people. I was the 36th person that got arrested in this sting operation. And I watched 35 people get let out of custody. And I was like, when are they going to call my name? And the lawyer comes back and he said, "You're not going home. You have a strike." And a strike is a violent crime in another state. And although I had a fight in another state with an off-duty police officer that, I won the trial, I had another crime that could have been similar to a violent crime that you could have, but it wasn't a match between New York and California that would have been considered a strike, which is a violent crime. So my case wasn't proven a violent crime. So legally, I should have never went to prison. I should have just got out into a rehab 3 hours later like the other 35 guys with me. But even though I never had a strike, I got out of prison, and I went back to the same spot that I got caught in the first place, and I tried to buy another $20 of crack. And this time I'm at the end of the block going, I'm going to watch somebody go up and buy some crack, and if the squad cars don't come, then I'm going to go up and buy it. So I watched this black guy walk up and go over to the gates, and then he walked away from the gates. So I said, oh my gosh, he bought crack. No police came. So I go up to the gates, and I hear, ksh, ksh. That was the frequency of a police radio. And I said, oh. So I walk up to the corner, and I walk around the corner. Then I start talking to myself. Hey, you're chickening out, boy. Go handle your business. Get your crack that you want, and see quit acting like a baby, and man up and go get your stuff. You're hearing things, and I talked myself into going. In spite of what I heard, God gave me a warning. I went to the same spot I got caught in the first place, exact same spot, and got caught a second time. And the police go, hey, this is the jackass we caught, last time. Look, he's here again. And I went to prison the second time. And out of those two crimes, I ended up doing 14 years in prison between all the violations and the prison terms. And, add on prison time for, tattoo work or, riots. But this is what happened. I ended up serving 14 years in California prison until finally I prayed and I said, Lord, if you don't deliver me from my addiction, you're going to send me to hell. I'm going to be a statistic. I'm going to be murdered, or I'm going to end up, overdosing, and you're going to end up sending me to hell. And I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to live my life like an addict, but I can't control myself anymore. It's beyond my cognitive ability to control my own actions and reactions. And the things that I don't want to do, I find myself doing. I say, I'm not going to use again. The next day I get money, and there I am doing the same thing. And then you're mad at yourself. I can't explain the drug addiction. It's really, it's been years since I've been addicted, and about 10 years ago, God delivered me from my drug addiction. Then I was an alcoholic for a month. And then I just stopped, because my doctor stopped prescribing me my medication. I went into my doctor's office drunk, and they stopped giving me some of my medications that I take, for sleep, and Xanax and Adderall that, I'm on, and that, I need. I get a couple pain pills a day, and I don't overtake them. I don't have a problem with pills. I have many other problems, but that is not my problem. So, I get this medicine, and I had to stop drinking. So God stopped, me from drinking. And, I thought I would never be able to pick up a phone and not watch something inappropriate on a phone. I couldn't trust myself with a phone. And then God took it away from me, and you're like, wow, Lord, thank you for doing that, because what I couldn't do for myself, you did for me. So, this people say God helps those who help themselves. Yes, but sometimes he helps those that don't help themselves. And some people get breaks that don't deserve it. Like, I felt I was dealt very harshly with the penal system in California for buying a $20 peanut and a $14 peanut, literally, but macadamia nut from the police, which now is deemed unconstitutional and deemed entrapment, and any felonies that were caused as a result of those crimes could have been broken down for a misdemeanor. But then I had a SWAT standoff after my car accident in 2013. I got my leg amputated. in 2014 and 2015, I had a SWAT standoff for 7.5 hours, and the police wanted me to come out of the house, and I didn't want to come out, and that's just the way it goes. And they're not going to go away. They got a MRAP in my driveway and a robot coming up to my door, and it was an ugly day. And I knew I would never see my dogs again, and my lawyer ended up ripping me off of my car accident settlement. I got left, in a wheelchair, on Skid Row, homeless, not able to teach boxing. And I thought, man, by this point, I'd be up working the corners of UFC guys, they're fighting for the championship. I'm going to be the striking coach, and I was that good. I really was that good. And a fighter knows within 15, 20 seconds if you know what you're doing or not. And you're not going to train fighters if you think it's so easy. You go ahead and train them. You go ahead and teach boxing. See how far you get with a fighter before they call you an idiot and get out of the gym before they sock you. You got to know what you're doing when you're training pro UFC fighters and professional boxers. You better know what you're doing. Okay, and I knew what I was doing, and I'll make any fighter a better fighter. I correct mistakes. Technical, I do footwork, angles, and head movement, and feints, and stopping right hands, left hooks, and jabs, and just anyway, there's a whole bunch, and I could teach it all, and I loved it. I loved teaching boxing. I boxed, but I was a better trainer than I was a fighter, and I loved training fighters more than I loved fighting. Fighting, I loved, but it was difficult. A lot of times I'd get nervous before I spar. And other guys, calm. And finally, when I got calm, I got to about 41 years old, and I couldn't spar anymore, and too much head trauma. And my head wasn't built like Tyson Fury's head is built, or Deontay Wilder's head is built. I didn't have those genetics. Although I had the skill set to teach them, but I didn't have the genetics to withstand that type of trauma up at a heavyweight level. And a guy that knows how to punch over 200 pounds, that knows how to punch, and you're in the ring with him, and you're not getting paid. You're just sparring. And why do guys go and spar every day? And why do you want to get punched in your face, 50, 70 times, 150 times, a day? Sometimes maybe 50 times you get caught with shots, or 30 times you get caught clean with shots. Why do you want to absorb that punishment and come back the next day and do it again, and then 2 days later do it again, and 3 days later do it again, and the next day do it again? You're not getting paid for this. Most fighters don't end up making it. Very few guys end up getting paid out of this. But a lot of guys like to fight. And a lot of guys like to do jiu-jitsu, and they like to wrestle, they like to grapple, they like to bang heads. Guys like to go in the military, they like combat, they can get back from combat, they're fearful of it, and then they go back in it a second time because, that bond that you get is unexplainable unless you're a police officer, that bond you have with officers. Well, there's a bond between a fighter and a trainer. You watch UFC fighters before they get in the cage. They kiss their trainer, and they kiss the guys in the corner, and then they get in the ring, and then they're banging with a guy for 3 or 5 rounds, and at the end of it, they shake hands, they hug, they kiss each other. Nobody, other grown men kiss each other. You don't see newscasters kissing each other when they come into newscasting, or guys in a weightlifting gym kiss each other, but fighters do. It's unexplainable. You have a bond that is a respect level that you have once you want to fight a guy and he wants to fight you. You're not going to back down. He's not backing down. You know the moves. He knows the moves. Now let's see who makes a mistake. Let's get this on, because I want to fight just as bad as you want to fight. And bell rings and we go at it. And I bang like that. And there's when you come back and you tell your corner, hey, how'd I do? Man, you outworked them. And and they break the rounds up. That's enough. 2, 4 rounds, and they break it up. And how'd I do? And you outworked them. And man, the feeling you get is like, it's better than sex. It's better than drugs. It's you can't get a feeling like that. That's why fighters get addicted to keep coming back and keep fighting. And it's an unexplainable thing. But to apologize to somebody, if you're wrong, just say, "Hey, I shouldn't have spoke like that to you. I'm sorry for talking like that to you. I was wrong. I was trying to get my point across to you, and you offended me when you said this. I didn't like it." And some guy might go, "Kiss my, you know what? I don't care if you don't like it. Kiss my, you know what? Too bad." Or another guy going, "Hey, I appreciate that, and I apologize too," and shake hands, and you get closer. Sometimes you got to fight with a guy, and then you become the closest friends. I fought kids in school. Our gym teacher used to have us put the boxing gloves on at school if you had a problem with another student. And, at the end of 3 o'clock, you guys go in the gym and you bang it out. And then you huffing and puffing, and then you hug each other. And you become best friends after that, after you fought somebody, And I've had that happen several times in my life, many times. And it's a respect you get once you bang with a guy. You just can't explain it until you got to bang, and when you light it up with each other and it's over, it's usually even if you come up short, you went for it, and he went for it, and then he has this respect for you. You went for it, he went for it, and man, that was great, and we become best friends. And next time we don't get in a gym war, so. My point is, I want to just get into Donald Trump right now. He had a rally last night of 105,000 people. And I heard there was another 20 to 40,000 people outside that didn't get in. Could you imagine who draws that type of crowd? He is loved, man. He might be hated, but he's loved too. So they say you either love me or hate me. But you ain't gonna notice after I go by. You're gonna know I went by for the rest of your life. You're gonna know my name. And Trump's got one of those guys that you meet in life and you're just never gonna forget. Whatever interaction you had with them, you're gonna love them or hate them, but you're never gonna forget them. And that's just the way it goes. And I hope that this just be pure and be honest and speak honestly. Because the truth echoes past eternity. The truth is always comes to the surface. You try to hide crime or conceal a crime or deny that. I've lied, to get money for drugs, and I knew I was lying, and you feel like a scumbag. And I don't know if I can say those words on YouTube. You feel like a dirtbag, okay? And that what you did is wrong, and it might not be a crime to someone else. Okay, I lied to him, and he gave me some money. I conned him out of some money. Is that a crime? Well, no, it's not a crime. It's not a punishable crime in prison or nothing, but it's a moral wrong, and it's a self-respect wrong. So if you're doing stuff that's wrong, I hope you know it and recognize it, and make amends to the person that you're wronging. And if you got a son or a brother or sister that's rebellious, be patient. Love conquers a multitude of sins. Perfect love casts out all fear. Love is nothing like love. It's stronger than hate. A mother's love for her son or daughter, if they're in trouble, they will get themselves murdered, beat to death, but they will get so their child could live another breath. That's how that love that mother has for the child is like any other. There's nothing like the love of a mother. When a mother's right and pure, there's nothing like the love. And I've disrespected my mom when I was growing up, and I was difficult and hard to handle, and I didn't want to hear nothing as a teenager, and all I wanted to do was fight and act like a tough guy and be a tough guy. And actually, I ended up being a tough guy, but you end up paying a price for living like that. When it comes a day where you're gonna get knocked on, you know what, and you're gonna get knocked down in sparring. You're gonna get your bell rung. You're gonna see the lights show, blue and yellow lights, and you're gonna have to hold on and grab and break, and you don't want to break apart because your bell is wrong. You can't even get your head together. Your legs ain't under you yet. Your brain is telling you what to throw. You see the openings, but you physically can't throw them because you're jolted. Your whole nervous system's jolted. And it's unexplainable unless a guy goes through it. Then you can understand, the guys that go through this that will understand what I'm talking about. And you think 3 minutes is a short period of time. 3 minutes or 5 minutes, 3-minute rounds in boxing, 5-minute rounds in UFC. 5 minutes might not be a long time. It depends how you spend that 5 minutes. If you spend 5 minutes relaxing watching TV, it goes by fast. If you spend that 5 minutes getting tortured, it'd be the longest, 5 minutes you ever had in your life. If you spend that 5 minutes fighting and you're huffing and puffing, being tired makes a coward out of anybody. So I hope this touches somebody, and I want my channel to grow. So please like and subscribe. And if you like the content, and I'm going to put out some more boxing videos and UFC videos. I'm going to commentate more on them because I have very good analysis. Like Max Kellerman was never fought, but had perfect analysis in it. He knew when a fighter was hurt, and I was like, how does this guy know? He never boxed before. How does he know when this guy's hurt? How could he tell? He just somehow was one of the few people in life that never fought and ended up knowing what it's like to fight. So I'm going to wrap this up, and God bless my audience, and I hope you guys like and subscribe and comment. If you comment about anything, tell me to F off. I'll understand. Call me a jerk. I'll understand. Tell me you like the content. I'll understand that too. No problem. I got thick skin, All right. God bless you guys. And have a great day.